All right, what's up, y'all? So it's been about 2 weeks since we posted anything on the channel because, as I know, the last film, basically the Between Us short film, is basically the last thing we posted. And I promised y'all on TikTok, and I did mention this on the channel as well, that I was actually going to do kind of a breakdown of EPOCH. It's been a couple months. It's been a little while. We got a lot of viewership. We got a lot of comments on it. So let's kind of break it down. And I'm not gonna like watch the entirety of the film with you. So when we transition over to what's on my screen, I'm not gonna go through the entire film, but I'm gonna just go through key points that some of you in the comments actually kind of caught on to, where some of these moments, you know, how some of these moments are represented, what's the point of these moments, and all that stuff. And I'll kind of give you a little bit of the, you know, behind the scenes in terms of maybe some information you didn't know about the shoot itself, or maybe some of the scenes itself. So hopefully this video should not be super duper long, but maybe about 10 minutes. So let's kind of get into it. But I will say this before I get into it, actually. Disclaimer, this shoot was kind of difficult. And when I mean difficult, it mostly had to do with the timing and the planning. So we planned everything as well as we could. One of the main issues though is one of the actors doesn't live in the state. So we only had like a weekend to do this. And the first day went relatively smoothly for the most part. We had some minor hiccups. Like for example, I had rented a lens kit because I had, basically there was these lenses called the dual lens APO mini primes. And I had one of them because I was testing them out to see if those lenses would be my official kind of lens set that I purchased. But what ended up happening was when I rented the lens to kind of fill in the rest of the set, there was one focal length, I think it was the 32, I believe, or the 31, where no matter how kind of I focused on a subject, the person was always just out of focus. So some scenes or some shots you'll see, like sometimes the subject can be a little kind of soft, and I had to do with that lens, and that was from a rental, and I didn't have the time to go through all that hassle of, you know, oh, this is what happened to my shoot. I didn't have time for that. And also too, just the lens I felt like wasn't suitable. It didn't give me enough control. And like I said, I'm not one making excuses or anything like that. But you know, it was a learning experience. You know, I wasn't mad at how the short film came out, and probably most of y'all didn't even notice nor cared. But just giving y'all some insight. So some scenes I'll point out, you know, when it was a little difficult, and some other scenes I'll just kind of talk and discuss and, you know, deal with y'all in regards to that. But let's kind of get through the short film in itself. So in the starting scene, you see on the screen here, I'm about to play it through Vimeo. Ultimately, this is just, you know, there's a little bit of a sound effect that goes on here. I really like this shot, by the way. This is like one of my favorite shots, because one of those situations where we get in that nice blue from the sky, and then we get the light coming in. That was one of my lights. I love this shot, by the way. It looks really good. That was one of the best controlled scenes we had. And even then, for the most part, the car scenes came out pretty well. So the watch vibrates. As some of y'all knew, y'all paid attention to that. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna skip through this a little bit.
About how we burnt out all the wiring, our electrical bill this, and how we busted the light fixtures. But then I told them that we paid Con Ed just like everybody else, and we already fixed all of the wiring.
Right.
So some of y'all caught on to the fact that they mentioned the fact that they already had like a previous situation regarding the electrical work in a previous building they were in, dealing with the previous landlord. So then y'all knew off rip that, oh, she's been doing this time travel thing for a minute. Once I got through the film, like I realized, oh, she's been drawing a lot of power from different places. So some of y'all caught on to the fact that she's already been doing this, but it was supposed to be like something that was said, but not really paid attention to, because, you know, I wanted to be there for the people who like are overthinkers. So that was a really cool scene, and cool little line. And some of y'all caught on to that as well. Now, believe it or not, this entire car scene that happens here,
you know exactly why he did that, right?
Like this entire car scene, for the most part, is what I would call like
Extra
all the way
cheese.
up until this point.
Yes.
I would basically call like a little one of those not a check mark, but a bookmark moment. So basically, this just lets you know where you are in the span of the film itself. And even though it doesn't serve a huge purpose, it does serve one purpose, which we'll get to at the end of the film. But nonetheless, the conversation itself doesn't have too much relevancy to the overall plot. It's mostly the things that you see in the scene, or one particular thing that you see in the scene, which plays a part to the whole film. Now, once again, this whole table scene as well, it lets you kind of give you an idea of what her motivations were. So basically, that's when we got to know, oh, what's the driving force behind her kind of doing the whole time travel thing. So, you know, we can see he's watching kind of a news kind of video on his phone, and then they're having a discussion, and she asks the question, you know, hey, if you can time travel, if you could change anything, what would it be? And to see his answer. Now, he doesn't take it serious, but, you know, it gives you an idea where her mind is at. And then what makes this part cool is when he walks off and we transition to the bedroom scene here. This is where a lot of the fun starts to take place, with kind of an interesting way we went about displaying this moment. So she's laying in bed, it's nighttime, you know, she's wearing a purple tank top, right? But then, you know, as we watch it, someone caught on to this. So we're gonna watch this scene.
One decision altered could rewrite the world.
So even though these two moments technically appear to be happening at the same time, we know that the one with the purple tank top is happening first. You see she puts on the clothes that she started with in the beginning of the film. And you see she looks back and then she walks off. But then on the right side of the screen, we're already seeing what she went to go do in the first place. So
time travel wouldn't
it's
just
like
change
I wanted to
history.
display this moment in a way
us to
that,
face
oh, it's
it.
non-linear. So you're seeing the future while present time is happening. And also as she's talking, she's saying time itself is, you know, not
What
really
if we knew
linear.
better?
It's all over the place.
Would we
You know,
do better?
sequences happen differently.
Or are we doomed
And
to
especially at
repeat
this part when he's
ourselves no matter
kneeling,
how many
you can see
chances
in one
we
shot
make?
on the right, his hand moves up,
The power
while the shot on the
isn't in
left,
change
his
of
hand
time,
never moves.
but in
So
change of
already this
us.
implies that, oh, these are slightly different timelines, which means this has been done before. And then by the time we get to the table scene here, right?
Okay.
They're having the discussion about like, hey, what's that in the basement? What's going on here? I don't know what's going on. And even though she's having this argument, the whole point is, once again, this is a bookmark moment, as I would call it. You're just understanding that now we're in the present time. This is the timeline that we're settled in. And I'm letting you know this is what's going on at this moment. This is the now for us. The previous scene with the overlapping clips of different points in time, they were, as I said, different points in time. And this is also one of those moments where that 31 millimeter was messed up. It was just, no matter what I did, it cannot be in focus. But this whole discussion, once again, just leans in further to her motivation of, this is why I'm time traveling. I'm tired of being an intelligent Black woman in these white spaces where I can't get the support that I need. You know, I'm trying to change the world, but no one's here to help me. And I'm trying to do the best that I can, but in reality, you know, what can I do? You know, no one takes me serious. This is basically her argument. You're understanding why she's doing what she's doing. And that's pretty much what this entire scene serves. And he's just, not necessarily because he doesn't believe in her, but ultimately this scene is like one of those situations. He was like, you don't know what's going to happen. Now, if you're paying attention, once again, the reason we're seeing the overlapping kind of points in time and different timelines in that previous sequence with the bed and her going to the basement and him going to the basement is because as he's saying this, oh, you don't know the ramifications. She's done this before, meaning he doesn't know that he is in this kind of loop with her. You know, every experience is the first time for him, but she's done this already. So that's kind of why the whole argument is pointless. And that's why no matter what the situation is, and forgive me, the sirens in the back, because, you know, New York City, right? Basically, no matter the situation, she was going to do it anyway. She's going to keep doing it. And so even though they're having this debate back and forth, you know, at the table,
All of them. Do you know how exhausting
like I said,
it
the
is
sirens
to
living
be
in New York City.
exceptional, only to be seen as ordinary? I wanted to change the world. I thought the math would speak for itself. But the truth, the math doesn't speak. People do.
Loretta.
You see, so this whole table scene was just to let you know, if you made an assumption on why she wanted to time travel and your assumption was right, this is just confirming this is the reason why. And like I said, this whole scene is just them going back and forth, but her mind is already made up. Like I said, she's already done this. And let's see, we keep going. Okay. I'm going to skip this part when she walks off.
Why does it have to be you? Why does it have to be your responsibility?
Okay.
Because they did not discover time travel, Henry.
There we go. Okay.
You know me.
So I'm going to skip a little bit ahead. She walks off, right? We get to this moment, she walks off because she's going to go to the basement. Then she goes to the basement, right?
Exist all at once, like pages in a book, stacked together, waiting to be flipped. That's time travel. Not just moving forward or backward, but stepping into the infinite layers of reality where past, present, and future breathe as one.
All right, so we get to the end, right? Now, here's a cool thing about this one. So I'm going to show you, for those of you who did not go to Vimeo to watch the extended version, this is what I mean, where like I put things in the comments, in the description and stuff like that to help, kind of extend, kind of give you a little extra. So on YouTube, it cuts here. But on Vimeo, I have a slightly extended version of the film where you get your answer on what happened when she jumped back. So I'm going to let this part just play out and y'all watch it. And I want y'all to see even in the YouTube one, you have all the clues because there were a few people who figured it out even without the extended ending. But in this case, I'm giving you confirmation if you're watching. You see, we're back at the beginning. Once again, to watch the same thing. Pretty much feels the same, right? All right, this plays out. We're going to get to one key part.
I hope that didn't
Another
take too long,
indication.
but-
What was that all about?
Oh, he kept complaining about how we need to pay some sort of fee, right? About how we burnt out all the wiring, our electrical bill this, and how we busted the light fixtures. But then I told him that we paid Con Ed just like everybody else, and we already fixed all of the wiring.
Right. Well, you know exactly why he did that, right?
It'd be your own people.
So believe it or not, everything was the same in terms of the same shots, except for when they said it'd be your own people. That's actually a different time in which they actually were talking over each other. So in this timeline, she knows already what he's going to say. And also in the extended version, I gave you two indications that this is different. So when the scene starts with the car again, that car does that little vibration distortion thing. Then when he gets in the car and starts talking, the whole world except her starts to distort, which means every time you see the distortion in the film, which some people figured out in the comments, every time you see any form of distortion, whether it be an item or the world around you, whatever the case may be, well, we didn't show the world situation in the regular YouTube version. But when you see the distortion, you know that something's happening when it comes to the time, especially when it comes to that watch and when it comes to her. So in the original YouTube one, where it's on this platform, basically you saw in the beginning, the car did not, there was no distortion because that was unique to that timeline. So the shot showing the car was unique to that timeline. Then you see the watch distorts. That means she's already done it before because that moment in which you see the watch distort, that means the conversation is a part of that conversation is new, but then nothing in the car distorts after that, which means, you know, that's unique to that timeline at that point in terms of what they were doing. Then when we get to the table, everything's kind of unique to that timeline as well. And then once you kind of get to certain moments where in bed things start to overlap, even though she herself is not distorting, there's one thing, one object that is shown in the frames that is distorting. That's the watch itself in that little clear glass stand. So the distortion always indicates a break in timeline based on whoever interacts with it, or based on her interaction with it. So that's why at the end of the film that's on YouTube, she fully just distorts out of the timeline. And then in extended version, now that she distorted back to the beginning, the car vibrates because now it's been repeated. The watch vibrates because it's been repeated. And then that moment with the car, once he gets into the car and he says that line, the world distorts because that's been repeated. So at this point, the distortion, the amount of distortion you see in the film is an indication on what's being changed. And then if you don't see it, it stays the same. So that's kind of what the point is. But to wrap this all up, because I'm actually talking longer than I was expecting to, this entire film is a time loop. And the reason it's a time loop, and I decided to settle with a time loop, is mostly because, one, I was inspired by Neil deGrasse Tyson podcast, but also I'm aware that we don't know how time would react. And also there's a theory that time travel, when it comes to time travel specifically, I know I can make any, time travel kind of rules in my own stories, but in this film specifically, in this world is based heavily on reality. And there's a theory that when it comes to time travel, you can't time travel past the point in which the device was initially created and activated, which means the reason why she keeps trying to keep going back, she's limited to the moment in which it was activated or which it was active. So you can't go to a moment prior to when the time travel device was active. But like I said, that's a theory. So I decided to keep that theory in this world where she's limited to a time loop and she keeps trying to push back, but then she can't because literally time will not allow her to do so. And that's the ramification that her fiance was talking about. But y'all let me know. There's some other details too in the film that, obviously I don't want to bring up because I want to see what y'all get out of the film, because some of y'all have really been analyzing it. And once again, if you enjoyed this film, go watch Between Us. That one's a different film. It's not about time travel. It's about, relationships. But nonetheless, it's a film that's a really, really good time. And, I would love to get some of y'all input, see what y'all think. We got some things cooking up for y'all. We're currently in pre-production for another short film that's going to be coming out. And then next year is going to be a pretty big year. We're working on some projects when it comes to documentaries that are not necessarily funded by ourselves, but some other collaborative projects with some other people. Yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all be interested in. And next year as well, I am working on launching a Kickstarter next year for a web series. But this web series is going to be about the church, the Black church, based on the video that I did a little while back. And I know y'all going to like that one. That one is turning out to be really, really, really good. But I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Stay safe. And feel free to watch the short film Between Us. Peace out.